Hey everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene and I am with A Room to Bloom. So before we get started on a reading today, I would like to just take a moment and clear the energy. Today, as I record this, it does happen to be what is called the Lion's Gate portal or the 888 portal. And what this portal is about, eights are about abundance. So it's manifesting into your experience. It's a great time to do this. What it is that you desire or would like to experience, right? So I just did a short, and some of the words that came out were really like, write the list. This is a great time to think about where you're at and what you'd like to experience. Just write the list. Get your thoughts around it, because everything in our experience first starts with our thoughts, because it is our thoughts that create things. Everything starts with the idea and or the thoughts, which is interesting because earlier I pulled a different card and it said exactly that. Listen to the ideas that you are getting. These are ideas that will be helpful for you, right? Messages from your angels. And this will be the last one. And on my tea this morning, it said if you are feeling low in energy, breathing in, right, will help renew your energy. So wherever you are, at home or out and about, doing breath work can help with that. Okay, so because it is the 8-8 portal, there are energies going on, and also there's a full moon tomorrow. And so you can be feeling some sort of way, right? You can be, and maybe you don't have words for it until like you hear a video like this and you're like, yeah, I am feeling, you acknowledge it. Maybe you are feeling some sort of way, but you didn't know what it was. Well, when there are things going on in the cosmos, we can feel that on a very cellular level. Each of us, it affects each of us differently in different ways. Each planetary alignment or movement or different things going on can affect each of us in different ways. But there are some common things that we see, like with moon cycles and such. But that doesn't mean it affects everyone exactly the same way, and every moon cycle affects everyone exactly the same way, because the cycles are different. Tomorrow happens to be a full moon in Aquarius, and so in 6 months you can see results from kind of what was happening here today, or tomorrow, pardon me. So anyhow, I pulled out a little book here of mindfulness. I'm not going to start in that, but I did open it up to a page and it was speaking about eating. And so what I was going to say is, sometimes when we are feeling out of sorts and we don't really know what it is, right? We might eat to settle ourselves because we're feeling anxious or some sort of way, right? And so that eating is one of the things that we might do to feel grounded. Think about when people talk about comfort food, right? It comforts us. It makes us, literally, it might make us feel heavier because it weighs us down, especially when we're feeling out of sorts, okay? So we're going to get back to that, but I have this deck I bought called Super Smoothies. So, and they're, I see messages in these and they're beverages, but let's see what comes up first with this. And these are drinks for health and vitality. Okay, I'm getting goosebumps, so let's see what comes up that Spirit would like you to know today about something going on with smoothie. And that, let's just see what happens here. The first one is Silver Cloud. Okay. And so these are orange. They have orange, it looks like an orange peel in there. Um, it is, oh, it's a lemon. So half a lemon, soy milk, ground almonds, canned light cheese. Um, anyway, so the name is what we're really after. So to me, silver cloud, this also reminds me to look for the silver lining in the clouds, which says whatever's going on in your life, especially, so again, there are times when we don't know what's putting us out of sorts, but there are times when we do know, right? Or there are times when we think it's something, but that something would not be as elevated if we didn't also have the planetary alignment things going on. So, like, other days, that same kind of thing would just be like, ah, whatever. But because there's these things going on with the planetary alignments, you might feel some sort of extra way about something, right? So, trying to see the silver lining in situations, right? Um, Whatever that is. So maybe you were planning on going out, but you were feeling some sort of way. So you decided not to. And so the thing is you could live in the energy of you wish you would have gone out and you're missing all this and that. But what is the silver lining? The silver lining might look like, oh, they went, but now I can relax and do what brings me joy or brings me comfort or relaxes me or soothes my soul, right? So there is a silver lining in that. And you recognize when you do that, you might have been pretty wound up before, but as you start to give yourself self care, you start to ground yourself and you start to feel more at peace, right? So finding that silver lining in the clouds. Orange, ooh, I have goosebumps as I say that. So yeah, that silver lining is that you might just be doing something that brings you joy. So if you were going to go with, I don't know, a couple people in your family or something, and it was just like, I think you guys are better served to go without me and you stay home, maybe you're going to read a book that has been sitting there kind of staring at you, and you finally started reading it. Maybe you're going to start journaling. Maybe you're going to do some artwork, something that brings you joy. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? We have a summer berry smoothie. Okay, so we are currently in August. It is August 9th. So I have to do, no, 8th. Sorry, it's the 8/8 portal as I record this. August 8th today. So summer berry smoothie. We have raspberries and blueberries. Blueberries are known to be antioxidants. So when we're talking about our diet, having blueberries can help detoxify your body, right? Help to take things out that are no longer serving you. So making an effort possibly to have a smoothie using this vanilla, soy milk, clear honey. Honey has so many healing properties in it, right? But again, summer berry smoothie. Okay. Okay, I have to go back to this. Okay, there's two things now that I look down. It is the one on the box, okay? So there's something about front and center with this, okay? And what's really interesting is all this green is representative of your heart chakra, right? I'm just going to hold with that right now. We'll see what else comes up with that. Okay, round the clock. Okay, around the clock. These are two more orange drinks. It says ripe avocado and a ripe banana and skim milk, right? So this is saying, what are you doing around the clock? Are you watching the clock, right? This is about having high energy, right? And so, are you feeling, because the energy alignments can also make you feel as if your energy is low. So, like, if you don't always eat a lot of, like, say, sugar, you might, if you were feeling low on energy, you might go have some sugar, something sugary, or have a craving for it because you felt your energy take like, it depleted, right? And so it's about maintaining balance in that, but it's also self-awareness. And that's also what we're going to get to in this book. We'll talk about that for a minute. Okay, high flyer. So just what I said, if you're feeling out of sorts, right? You feel like a high flyer, and so it's like, how do we get grounded, right? Um, it's it's interesting when we're a high flyer. You're seeing the clouds. It's what it feels like, right? You're up in the clouds, and it's like, okay, I'm going to try to settle things down a little bit, and I'm going to look for the silver lining. I'm going to wind down. You might have been feeling wound up around the clock, right? You might have had a lot of energy and moon's phases can do that, make people not sleep well. It just depends on the phase and how everyone is affected. But when you start writing it down, you can become more aware of the patterns for yourself. And then there might be times when you don't sleep that well. So then all of a sudden, if you start to become aware of it, you might think, what projects would I like to accomplish that I've been putting off or delaying, and then when you know that that's coming, you might say, yeah, I already know that I'm going to have more energy, so I'm going to work on it then. Right? Okay. All right. I'm just going to let that be. We're going to go to this book. I want to talk about this. So again, it's a little book on mindfulness. Focus, slow down, and de-stress, which is interesting. I didn't read the cover of this when I was speaking about that. And so, again, when we have high anxiety, it might be hard to focus because we're feeling out of sorts. Being called to slow down, right? De-stress. And you know what? No one's going to do that for you but you. So it's like you literally have to call the shots in your own experience, meaning you know what, this it's just becoming, to that saying what Jesus says, know thyself, right? And you start to know yourself better. Okay, so let me just go to this one because it talks about diet a little bit, and it says be mindful. Okay, eating with awareness. So this is about slowing down. So like if you take a piece of fruit that you can peel, takes a little longer. You're being aware of it as you're peeling it, right? For example, an orange, of course, a banana, whatever other fruits you can peel. While you peel the piece of fruit, reflect on what brilliant packaging nature uses, right? That's really interesting. Of course, and now I'm coming to this thing. Did you know that banana peels can be used for polishing shoes and bring them to a really nice shine? So be aware of all the processes that made this possible for you to eat it. The seed, the earth, the weather, the crop pickers, all the way into your hands. Think about the crop pickers, the delivery truck, the truck drivers who get those foods, whether, to the supermarket or wherever they're bringing them. Eat it slowly, knowing that it is adding to the cycle of its life by improving yours. So appreciation, right? Be reminded of all the cycles that we in turn are part of to safeguard our environment and keep our own footprints free from pollution. The next one says, be mindful of everything that you are eating. Think about the source, the vitality, the nutrition, and your digestion. Slow down your eating to avoid indigestion, tension in the stomach, and overeating. You'll become more aware of what you are putting into your body, and the sensations of tastes and textures will be heightened. I don't know, the vision I'm being given right now is, if you can imagine a vending machine, and let's say you were going to order whatever, some type of a meal, and out it doesn't kick out your whole meal at one time. It comes in increments, right? And it's like, okay, and it doesn't give you the full size that you originally thought you wanted. So it delivers you a little bit of a smaller portion to help you feel lighter. It delivers it in slower quantities to help you appreciate what is there and to see it, to appreciate its beauty, right? To appreciate where it came from, the processes that it took to be in your hand before you're eating it, right? And so this idea of slowing it down. Think about when people go out to dinner and you know, however many course of a meal is served. You know, often, you know, sometimes there's many courses served in certain dinners, right? But it is also that idea of, here's the first course, especially if a dinner is a longer dinner time, right? Where it's like, we don't just take it all at once and have at it. It is not just a meal, it is an event, right? It is a place to commune with others. So just being aware of that. And this one was, I thought, important. Managing your cravings. Food plays such a complicated part in our lives that sometimes it is difficult to distinguish what we need and what we want to eat. And so when we are feeling out of sorts, sometimes we'll go to the fridge, go to the cupboard, and I've done this plenty, right? Where it's like, you're not sure what it is that you're feeling, what your body is saying to you. You're trying to figure it out, right? And so what do we do oftentimes? We eat something and they're like, no, that might not have been it. Might try something else. And then sometimes it never was the food in the first place that we were really trying to find this resolve to. What we were really looking to do was to get grounded in our energy where we felt out of sorts, right? Yes, the food will help with that, but at the end, sometimes we still don't feel settled. We feel full, but we don't feel settled. Anyway, we tend to eat more of what we want to eat to the point it can simply become a craving. I'm going to reread that last sentence. I'm sorry. Food plays such a complicated part in our lives that sometimes it is difficult to distinguish between what we need and what we want to eat. We tend to eat more of what we want to eat to the point it can simply become a craving, often with no nutritional value at all. So be aware of your cravings. Ask yourself, where do they come from? What do you really want? And are you going to get it from eating that particular food? So again, it's like, is this a food thing, or is it, do I need to get grounded in some way or manner? Do I need to settle down? Do I need to turn my telephone off? Do I need to get quiet for a while? Do I need to just not consume anything, including a book or music or something? Do I need to get out in nature? Is that what, my soul spirit is longing to experience? So again, are you going to get it from that particular food? Can you just eat a little bit of it? Are you addicted to it? Can you try letting go of it and just watch the craving as a thought or feeling? So the other thing with like chips and different things like that, if you use like a small dish and you put some from the bag in there, you're more aware of how much you're eating, something like that. Can you try letting go of it and just watch the craving as a thought or a feeling? Applying mindfulness will gradually make it much easier to deal with these cravings. You become more aware of them. So when you're cooking fish, you know that if you keep prodding the flesh, it will start to fall apart and it will not cook nicely. It is exactly the same way with thoughts. Don't keep prodding them. Be mindful of them and give them a chance to cook along on their own and surprise you with an outcome via your intuition. Trust the process. Okay. So I thought that that was interesting, and I wanted to share that with this smoothie deck. Now, because we're doing that, I also wanted to go to a deck. If you've been having challenges, the first deck I want to use is called You've Got This, right? So let's see what messages are ready to step forth to help you. Okay, so the first one says, get more confidence by doing things that excite and frighten you, and allow things not to be okay once in a while. It's something we all have to work at. Baby steps are fine. Doing things that excite and frighten you, right? So taking a chance. So here we have flowers, a butterfly. The butterflies represent like freedom, transition. You've been going through some type of a transition. I find it interesting. Ooh, I have goosebumps. There's so much orange in here. What's coming to me is find your joy, right? And maybe there's been something you've wanted to do, but it frightens you, but you're excited about it. And this is saying, yeah, try it out. Find the silver lining in that. Okay. Okay, what do we have here under Summer Berry Smoothie? We have a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. And you know what's really interesting about this is it's the same colors of the berries that are in the drink. So a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. That is by James Watkins. So it isn't about being headstrong, a bully, pushing your way through, but it is about continuing to take steps towards that which you desire or your dreams, right? Persistence. So again, the universe rewards action. It doesn't mean you have to do all the action in one day. Taking a little step here, a little step there towards your dreams and or that which you'd like to experience, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, what else do we have under Round the Clock? Okay, so what is this is it's not really one of the cards, but it is these cards come from what's called Peter Popper Press, and which started in 1928. And they were known to sell books at prices even a pauper could afford. That's why they call them Peter Popper Press. So interesting that that's Around the Clock. Today it is still a family owned and operated business, and it continues to honor their founder's legacy and their customers' expectations of beauty, quality, and value. So there could be something where maybe they're working around the clock. Popper Press. Okay, let's go ahead and take another one here. I'm going to take it under that same one. If it's in you, keep following your dream no matter what. Now there we go. That really makes sense, around the clock, because that's what it was saying. And at the age of 22, Peter began printing books in a small press in his basement at his parents' home. And later his wife Edna sought to create fine books that could sold at prices that even a pauper could afford, right? So working around the clock, if it's in you, keep following your dream. Okay, what else do we have here under the High Flyer? I don't know if I showed you this about the the berries. I was saying it's the same colors as the berries that are in the glass there. Okay, under high flyer, we have trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible, right? So I just, I giggle a little because that's how this, reading opened. When you're feeling like, what is this, right? What is this energy? Why am I feeling this way? And a lot of people won't use that word or those words. What is this energy I'm feeling? That's like not words that everyone uses unless they're really on this journey. You might just be saying, I don't know, I'm feeling out of sorts, and you don't have words. But when people say what's going on in the energy, that's what they're talking about, right? So again, trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming, and when nothing is certain, anything is possible. So like the key words here that are coming to me, or key word is hope, right? Anything is possible. Having faith. Okay. So we're going to take some cards here from the self-care wisdom deck and see what comes through here. All right, what do you have to bring forth for the collective here today? We have a surprise under the silver cloud. Release your expectations and be open to surprise, right? That's interesting. So sometimes we have expectations and then something unfolds a certain way, but we're not seeing the silver lining. But when we allow for, we make space for allowing, and we release our expectations, we're like, what do we see? The silver lining, right? That came along. So release your expectations and be open to the surprise. Okay, the next one under smooth berry smoothie, a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. We have the words focus. My absolute yes list, right? What are our soul yeses? Like I said, today is the day to write the list. It's okay, it could go into tomorrow, that's fine. Write the list. What are your soul yeses? What resonates with your soul? And so if you know there's things that don't resonate with your soul, you don't have to spend a lot of time there, but because what you give energy to grows. So that's why you want to give energy to your absolute yes list and start taking action steps towards that. So if you focus on what you don't want, there's a good chance that you might get it. It's like two balloons. You're giving the energy to that one and you're blowing that up. So if it's like focus on what you do want instead, right? So, in the material world, for example, if you are looking for a new vehicle, give that energy, right? Give that energy. Look for a vehicle, test vehicles, talk about vehicles. Whatever you can do, you're giving that more energy, and allow the universe to what? Surprise you, and to see how things might unfold. Okay, what else do we have here under round the clock? Guys, shine around the clock, right? If it's in you, keep following your dream no matter what. Don't dim your light. The world needs your unique talents and gifts. Shine brightly, right? Shine brightly when? Around the clock. Okay. Whoa. What else do we have? Okay, self. All right, so now this falls under high flyer, which is really interesting on the image here. Trust the wait, embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible. Now, why I'm saying this is high flyer. Here is a woman and she is in a bird cage, but the door is open. Okay, I have goosebumps. If beating yourself up worked, you would be thin, rich, and happy. Try loving yourself instead. Loving yourself instead where you're at, right? because it's just, it's like I'm good where I'm at, and that doesn't mean you have to stay that way forever. I was having a conversation with someone today. When there are energies shifting in our cosmic atmosphere, it can shift how we are feeling. And what do? Might lean into food. Sometimes we're not hungry, so you know what I mean. And so it's just allowing yourself to move through it, right? Embrace the uncertainty, enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible. Okay, I'm being called to split this deck. You guys, we have beauty. Okay, so she's wearing a pink dress, which speaks of healing. Today, you are a curator of beauty. You are blessed with moments that let you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that all is well in the world. Really. So very lovely. Okay. And then I'd like to use a deck here called Healthy Body, and this is by Louise Hay. These cards are. Okay, one wanted to stay in the box, so that is a message in itself. It's going to stay there. Okay, it's just going to stay there. It's not like appropriate for this. That's maybe why it was staying in the box. It was supposed to. Okay. It says, I love my ankles. Okay, what is this one going to fall under? It's going to fall under the silver cloud. Okay. My ankles give me mobility and direction. I release all fear and guilt. I move in the direction of my highest good, right? So appreciating your ankles. Again, what you send energy to heals when you have gratitude for all that you have, right? It's like a wonderful way of expression. I love my immune system, right? And this one falls under the summer berry smoothie, my absolute yes list. My immune system responds to my every thought. I choose loving, positive, healthy thoughts that support my immune system. So when you hear people speak about sending uh, uh, loving thoughts to every cell in their body, healing thoughts, healing prayers, positive affirmations, that's what this is about. In gratitude, right? Being in gratitude for that. Okay. Okay, the next one is I love my throat, and this falls under the round the clock, shine, and the if it's in you, keep following your dream no matter what. I love my throat. My throat is my avenue of expression and creativity. I sing with great joy. I love my throat, right? Okay, what else do we have? I love my teeth. I am a decisive person. My teeth are strong and healthy, and I bite into life with joy. I find that kind of funny because we were talking about food, right? We're talking about food. We're talking about feeling out of sorts. And then here it falls under the one where it's talking about self-love. Are you beating yourself up? If beating yourself up worked, you'd be thin, rich, and happy, right? Try loving yourself instead, right? So it's like I bite into life with joy, right? Instead of always beating yourself up, simply saying I'm going to enjoy this. But you might do like the book said, maybe have a little less of something. Okay, in splitting the deck, it says, I love my fingernails. I love and appreciate all the wonderful details of my life. Minor issues are handled with ease. So I just saw a new product online, and what it is a machine that they can be put in malls, but they're not very big, that you can have a manicure done in 10 minutes with each finger. But also one of the things that they have on there is you can get a picture from your telephone put onto your fingernail. So like shrunk down, and do that, which is kind of neat. I mean, just think about the technology, you guys. It's pretty cool. All right, and then we're going to take one more message, and this is Daily Guidance from Your Angels by Doreen Virtue. What would you like to show us for the collective today? It says, find the blessing and the gift within everything. That's the first card we started out with, which was basically the silver lining card, right? Today we'll focus on how you can prevent the creation of fearful attachments. In any circumstance that seems to evoke pain, you can take the path of peace by asking yourself, what is the blessing or the gift within this situation? So that's just where I'm going to leave that. But it is that same idea. So it's like a bookmarked reading. Started out with that, and that is how this is going to end. I want to say thank you for joining me. I hope you find the silver lining in whatever's going on in your life. Take care.